I'm back with another Batmobile, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the Eaglemoss Batmobile from Batman The Return #1. Now, this is a Batmobile that has recently gone straight to the top of my favorites list. It made its first appearance in a one-shot issue called The Return, and that book was basically serving as a bridge between the story arc of Bruce Wayne's journey home through time and his ultimate return as Batman. This was around 2010-2011. The Return also set up the storyline for Batman Incorporated. In fact, this Batmobile is sometimes referred to as the Batman Incorporated Batmobile. It was designed by artist David Finch, who continued to use the design during his run on The Dark Knight. And shortly after The Return and the Batman Incorporated concept, DC started the New 52, and when David Finch stayed on board the New 52 version of The Dark Knight, he continued using this design of the Batmobile. Now, some of you may know this already, but this Batmobile was also seen in the different versions of the Injustice video game. In the game, Batman actually had a takedown move where he would call upon the Batmobile. He would jump and flip behind it, and then the Batmobile would just mow down his opponents. So even though this Batmobile is relatively new to me, I'm sure many of you out there have seen it already. Now, I was familiar with this Batmobile beforehand, but when I saw the Eaglemoss model, I immediately knew that it was going to be one of my favorites. It has that common design of a two-seater cockpit with a long front end, kind of like the 89, kind of like the Arkham Batmobiles. Of course, the main difference that makes this Batmobile stand out is the fact that it has 6 wheels. It also has features like jet engines, sensors, titanium wheels, and it even has a remote control so you can actually pilot this Batmobile from the Batcave. There's just something about the detail in this design that kind of has this militarized look, like you almost expect it to have all these gadgets and secret compartments throughout. Now, I love the display case for this one. It's great. It's another diorama of the Batmobile in the Batcave. Now, the image on the 3D lenticular, it doesn't come from The Return. We do see this same Batcave in The Return. You can see there it has the Joker card and the giant penny. It's all in the same place. But it's actually a recreation of David Finch's artwork from The Dark Knight. It's from the pre-New 52 issue of The Dark Knight #1. And the image is virtually identical to that panel in the book. The base that the car sits on, it has a part of the floor in the Batcave, and it also has this portion of that sort of graded platform that the Batmobile is parked on. I'm particularly fond of these dioramas that Eaglemoss gives us of the Batmobile when it's inside the Batcave. I think it looks great. So, let's take a closer look at this Batmobile. I think it's definitely one of the best models that Eaglemoss has produced. Not only is it an amazing design of the Batmobile, but the construction of this diecast model is very strong, very solid. All the sculpted detail of that armor plating on the hood, the hooks and the etching on the grate in the front, and I love all of the separate pieces of the lights and the sensors on the front and on the back, and those separate exhaust engine ports that are coming out on both sides of the top of the hood. And I don't know if you can see this, but there are these springs or coils underneath that armor of the hood, and if I can get the light on it here, you can kind of see that it's on both sides. There's just very intricate detailing like that throughout the entire model. And I love all of the sculpted detail that they put into the tread of the tires. And all 6 tires have plastic for the rims, but the tires themselves are made from rubber. And the fins on the back are also made from plastic. And we've seen that before with some of the other Eaglemoss models of the Batmobile. But most of this Batmobile is made out of die-cast metal. And something cool about the design of the trunk, the way that it's sort of molded, it almost looks like the back of Batman's cowl or the folds of his cape almost. I love how it's kind of bulked up like that. And of course, the trio of jet engines are all highly detailed in the back. Again, I think it's one of the best Batmobiles that Eaglemoss has produced. I mean, it really looks just like David Finch's artwork. Now, in some of the earlier images of this Batmobile, it didn't have this hook on the front. But it's a nice little design detail that I'm happy to see they've included in the model. It's just a great design all around. I can look at this model all day. Now, I have one other model of this Batmobile. It's one of the recent Batmobiles made by Heroclix. Now, I know next to nothing about Heroclix. I know it's some sort of game, right? But every once in a while, they come up with a really cool-looking piece. They've made a few Batmobiles, and I know they've made some other DC vehicles like Wonder Woman's Invisible Jet. But I think it's cool that they went with this design of the Batmobile for one of their latest releases. I guess when the Heroclix model came out, this was the Batmobile that was used in the books. And as I mentioned before, this design of the Batmobile was also in the Injustice video game, so I guess it was just a popular model at the time. And the Heroclix version is a really cool little model. It has a little bit more of a cartoonish look to it, almost like an Imaginext or a Lego design. But they're both really cool, and as this design of the Batmobile has recently become one of my favorites, I'm really happy to have both of them in my collection. In closing, you probably already know that I'm going to say that this one is a must-have. It has definitely become one of my favorite designs of the Batmobile. I know I've said that several times already, but it's another great example of how seeing this Batmobile in model form, it really makes me appreciate the design that much more. As always, I have to thank my great friend Stewart Murray for helping me add yet another amazing Batmobile to my collection. This one came in a haul that Stewart recently sent, and that package included this Batmobile as well as some other absolutely amazing models. So I will definitely make a point of doing some videos for those in the near future. Let me know what you guys think about this one. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to subscribe, and of course I always appreciate reading your comments. So, we've been looking at the Eaglemoss Batman Automobilia Issue No. 41, the Batmobile from Batman the Return. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.